Hello, Earthbound Super Series, and welcome into another race in the Earthbound Super Series Ancient Cave 2026 tournament. I'm Leslie Pro, and on the left, we have Sitake. On the right is Chargles. And what we have in store for you tonight, or today, or whatever time it may be, 3 different flags. No shops or gifts. You have to beat enemies for your inventory. No Jeff. And your skips only go 2 floors. Now, without Jeff could be a problem, because if Jeff rolls Spy, you're not going to be able to steal that item from the enemy and then run away. And the way this flag works is the only way the item is lost is if you run away. And we are underway. Skip room right away, so we're gonna have to go back. Both runners want to see. Oh, it's wet towel, and the other one's pizza. Well, we gotta pay $15. I guess that's the one benefit of being down a kid, is that it's less money to actually get in. And we are stepping on a snake on Sitake's side, and Chargles too. Ooh, Super Bomb. That's a great item early. If we run into, say, if we have a Starman Jr. early, we don't have to worry about it. We just chuck that and hope it does enough damage. Now, Sitake is going to sit for a bit and get items off of snakes. It's a strategy he's used before to great effect. See how it works this time. Mr. Baseball Bat. That could cause a problem with instant wins, but we shall see. But Sitake got the green, so nothing there. Mr. Baseball Bat for Chargles. And Sitake is running across the bridge over troubled waters. Two different fights here. We'll see this item at roughly the same time. Well, Spy rolled Paula. Pooh got Prey. Oh! Wow. Game, you've got a mean, cruel sense of humor right there to drop a Gaia Beam when we don't have Jeff. I do suppose there is a way around that I've seen Brooke, one of our runners, do, is put the Gaia Beam in the inventory behind it, in between another equipped weapon and a teddy bear. Teddy bear dies, and instead of on the same term as something getting equipped, you equip that thing. And equipping the Gaia Beam would mean you've got a pretty powerful weapon. We've got some sewers. I doubt Chargles is gonna fancy taking a swim in that. Toy air gun, that's not very good. Oh, we got protoplasms. Well, I did not recognize that particular sprite that was running towards the bathroom on Charles' end, but, well, sometimes when nature calls, you just run for the door. Well, unfortunately for Chargles, and it looks like he is going to have to swim across this water. Now, unlike PK Scramble, this is at vanilla speed using a skip sandwich, and it is as slow as it looks. Yeah, that was a Moonbeam gun, Crimson, which is unfortunate that the seed is giving out all the Jeff weapons on a no Jeff seed, but honestly, I feel like that's the sort of thing that a randomizer would do because the game knows. It's as somebody I follow by the name of LOZ Cards Fan 23 would say. The game knows. And that is not the end of the floor. Well, an extra protoplasm shows up in time to be lit on fire. And game dropped a banana. Well, it's a healing item, so okay. As the paths branch, Charles at least wants to check the other door. This deep into floor 1, I don't blame him. Unfortunately, that's a dead end, so we gotta go through the preschool. And that gets us to our first boss. Okay, normal swirl, so it's not Junior, it is... I am so not a fan of fighting Slimy Little Pile. Because I remember one seed I had when... oh, a sea pendant for Sitake! That's a very big find right there. So Sitake's definitely ahead on encounters and ahead on Giygas equipment. But with that win, Chargles will be on his way to floor number 2. Immediately runs into a robot. Honestly, if you get in a pinch here, I would not feel bad about throwing a super bomb. As Sitake comes up with Exterminator Spray, I don't know how good that's going to be in this situation, as Chargles gets a sea pendant. But I guess if Sitake runs into a number of flies on a future floor, that could be beneficial. Well, speaking of beneficial, how about the floor 2 full heal, the Pink Cloud? Sitake finding Fire Spring, the floor 1 full heal, also found a Vital Capsule. Now, Sitake opted to give that to Pooh straight away to ensure that Pooh has that little extra vitality due to Pooh being our prayer character in this particular seed. Picture postcard, that's a junk item. Okay, saving at the phone, always a good thing, and this is King Banana as well as Hamburger. Now, it is possible for King Banana to show up in the item pool, but you can also find the King Banana rooms, because despite the flag set being no shops or gifts, you're still given items from NPCs that have them in the vanilla game. That being said, if you were to find the jail cell where Paula is held in vanilla, you'd get a Franklin badge that way. Earth Pendant for Sitake. Okay, you got a half PSI resist. And that's the Forsyth department store. Now, something you can do here is sell any of your extra equipment for a little extra money. Because the money's still helpful even in this flag set where you have no shops. Because the money could then be used for things such as hotels and hospitals. Because let's face it, healthcare is expensive in Eagle Land. They made this game as a parody of America, and yeah, the healthcare is definitely a thing here. Ooh, bag of Dragonite for Sitake. That's a great item right there. We're getting the goods early and often in this seed. Maybe not in terms of skip items, but we are getting the goods. And now, it looks like... excuse me. It looks like Chargles is at the end of floor 2 already. Sitake looking to spy for weaknesses. Gets a Horn of Life. And our boss here, that's going to be the Hieroglyph, whose name escapes me. This enemy's kind of rude. Freeze resistant. Yeah, this is where you just go thunder and fire. Unfortunately for Chargles, junk item, but through to the next floor. Now here's a great room to find for Chargles. A full heal and a phone. And another phone in the next room. Got a hub area in Saturn Valley. Let's see where this leads. This is pizza and... guessing that was the other side of the skip they saw earlier, so no need to take that. We haven't seen a pizza drop yet. Chargle's going back the way he came. Unfortunately, that's the only way to go. He missed a door. Unless there's another door I'm forgetting, which is very possible. Oh, there was another door. And we've got ourselves the mines. Now, the big allure of the mines right now would be encounters and experience. Plus, marking the exit mouse to get another later on. Looks like Chargles is heading up for one of the moles. This does count as an encounter, albeit a scripted encounter. Now, the reason Sitake is fighting this fight, even though the tree explodes, is because you don't want to lose the item that is in the inventory, in the item list, rather, not the inventory. Old habits die hard. That's all I'm gonna say about that one. Anyway, you run from an enemy, the item's lost, and you don't want that. Hypnosis. That is a very good strat. That is the other side of a skip we saw earlier, so no, it's not going to be of anything. Sitake drops a beta, and it's a chicken. Now, here's the question. Do you release the chicken, or do you throw it at Gygas? As an ode to what Andy Perfect did during his most recent Marathon Earthbound run, which, personally, I loved that. I thought it was hilarious. Yes, it was evening, Pebble. Nope, that's the other side of the wet towel skip. So unfortunately, Saturn Valley, not well, to put it mildly, a whole lot of nothing. Chargle's finding an ATM, as Sitake also on 3.
Yo.
So right now, while Chargles may be ahead in terms of progression, Sitake's ahead on the item list. And the Sitake's in the mines, so Sitake's also on floor 3. And it's Foreside now. You could check the hint man to see what the bosses are later on down the line. But Chargles isn't going to bother. And that is the locker room that we have no use for in Ancient Cave. And even if there was a use, this flag set wouldn't have a use for it. There's a chicken for Chargles. I don't know what the play is, but Sitake gets a thick fry pan for Paula, so that's at least some offensive improvement. Tucson Department Store isn't going to get you anywhere, unfortunately. Charles has to run. And now bosses. Nightmare on 6. Shroom on 7. Plague Rat of Doom on 8. So floor 6 definitely appears to be the big whammy this seed, even though, to be honest, Shroom can be obnoxious no matter what floor that boss appears on. Night Pendant for Chargles, I guess. Well, that's flash resistance, so not gonna say no to that. So the cafe wasn't the answer either. Guess that leaves very few options in this four-side. Oh, and we now go into not Delam, Scarab. Bah. And now we know where King Banana goes. So if one shows up, we can just say, no thanks. Now at this time, we have yet to find any usable skips. But that doesn't mean necessarily our runners are going to have to play this straight up, as a skip could come into play at some point. We just don't know when or where. That's part of the fun of the game. Oh, that's the back end of showtime. Chargle's not willing to take that. I don't blame him, because if that's not the right path, you're stuck in a cutscene. Sitake gets a hamburger. Chargles, on the other hand, finds the exit to floor 3. And this is Monty. Oof, this is pretty nasty to see early. And this could become problematic in a hurry, because there's no paralysis resistance on this party. That's Monty down for Chargles. Nicely done. And we found Central Onet. Now, there is a potential skip that can be taken here if our runners have up to $7,500 on hand at the minimum. Actually, Sitake will be able to take that skip when that time comes, seeing the amount of money that was just withdrawn. And we've got some foppies in the way. These foppies rolled up on HP. Sitake has the boss info, and speaking of info, Sitake's still on floor 3. And we've got a mole fight. We are plodding along here. And now Chargles is facing a robot disguised as a doctor in that room. No, thank you. And sometimes you can teleport an ancient cave in the overworld. Sometimes you cannot. It is rather inconsistent, if you will. Do I know how it works? Not really. I just know that it's a thing. And I know it's about as consistent as baseball umpires before the ABS Strike Zone Challenge became a thing this season. Those dancing bugs are dancing mad because Chargles took them out. Oops, skip sandwich. That is a skip item. Defense shower's not going to do our players any good here without Jeff. I'm sure Chargles would like to find a full heal so he can get rid of Ness's paralysis. Or even a hospital with a healer would do the trick. Unfortunately, the route Chargles took was a big old dead end. Sitake went back with the exit mouse. I'm not sure what the plan is here. Ooh, Sword of Kings, getting Pooh's best weapon. Perhaps this is the play to heal up. Well, I mean, to be fair, Pooh can equip other weapons, such as the slingshots and the yo-yos, but those cause his offense to go down. So basically, it's his only weapon. There's oh, we're going for a pizza skip. That's the play here. Where is Sitake going? To the back end of a floor. Chargles gets a full heal. Rather, a partial full heal. Also is going to get a yogurt dispenser that will serve no purpose whatsoever. Perhaps he feels he went the wrong way in Central Onet. Sitake got an auto Star Master. That is a DPS edge for Sitake here, no doubt about it. Sandlot Bat, not nearly as good. Oh, interesting. There must have been a floor bleed over somewhere, because that's the only way a Starman appears this early, folks. That's going to be big experience for Chargles for winning that fight. Gets a Guts capsule. Pendant shop's not going to have anything of value, so the mysterious statue is glowing strangely. Do 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 do. And Charles might be a little lost in the sauce here. Doesn't help when one central Onet door feeds right to another door in central Onet. And that is a pizza skip that Charles is going to take a shot at. This will put him to floor 2 or 6. Let's see. Well, it's definitely floor 2 because that's 2, or 6 rather, because that's Tucson. Too bad it wasn't floor 2 because the 2 for Tucson joke would have written itself. Ah, no dice. And Sitake is given an egg. No ruler, but no worries, because the shop that sells a ruler still sells a ruler. That is right, Pebble. You will give me an egg. I cannot do that voice any sort of justice compared to what DC Douglas did for Wesker back when Resident Evil 5 was a thing. Pebble, I see what you did there. Chargles with a bit of a stutter here. Sitake taking a scripted fight. That is a full heal for Sitake. Believe he's on floor 5, I want to say, because he did take a skip. Must have been a backwards skip because Charles immediately noped out. Guessing he doesn't want to try the fresh egg to see if maybe that's a double skip. Yep, definitely want to freeze the coffee cups because their attacks are AoE Fire Alpha. That smiling sphere just got electrocuted. Piggy Jelly, that's worth it. That's one of the best healing items of the game in terms of raw HP for a single item. Takes care of the enraged fire plug on Chargle's end, and Chargles gets a Sword of Kings. He's catching up on the item list. And you need the jar of fly honey for that fight, unfortunately, and since Sitake doesn't have it, he's gonna have to move on. Oh, we got a gigantic ants that explode. Oh my goodness, that could be dangerous. As Chargles gets an Auto Star Master now. Let's see where Sitake winds up off of this door. Oh, that's the end of floor 5. That is Shattered Man. Oh, this enemy's not messing around. But Sitake wins. Gets a Stag Beetle, which is probably not ideal. Does pick up PSI Shield Sigma, however. And that is going to be huge should Sitake find his way to Ness's Nightmare. But first, a fight against the Mini-Barf. Mini-Barf's one of those enemies that you generally don't use freeze on because it's freeze resistant, so that makes Starstorm a very good fit, and that Saturn Ribbon's gonna come in handy. That's pretty good defensive equipment for Paula. That is a long ladder climb for Sitake. And a potentially nasty encounter for Chargles, as this is a Mook plus a robot. Now, the problem with the Mook is that it can do all sorts of stats effects, attack with freeze. Thankfully, the kid that has Sea Pendant was the one that was hit. Sitake finds Summers. This is a very expansive floor 6. Hit meme time. What do we got? Two A's, 2 J's. Now that'd be a good... Now, an ace and a jack would be a great hand in blackjack, because that's a 21. In poker, Omaha, well, you've certainly got options for winning, but it's probably not your best, because in Omaha, your hand comes from 2 of your 4 hole cards, plus 3 of the community cards. Right now, Chargles is having an awful time trying to find his way out of Tucson. Oh, gets back attacked. I mean, yeah, that's true, Crimson. You split the aces, and then the 2 face cards come up, and you get a double blackjack. Unfortunately, Chargles did lose a party member in that exchange. Might as well at least heal up the kids who can be healed. This is a very large floor 6. And sitake finding his way to the end of floor 6 well before Chargles. I'll be honest, I don't think I recognized any of the rooms that Chargles was in on that entire floor. And, chat, the most frustrating thing in baseball is when your bullpen blows a game. That just happened. Yeah, the pains of the Sox. When the offense ain't good enough, the pitching they get ahead, but then the pitching lets them down. It's like, say I can't get a break this year. So yeah, that's one of the many reasons why I'd rather be doing this. Desert enemies. Fun. I don't know how that was not a red swirl on Chargles' end, but if I'm Chargles, I'm not complaining. Second C pendant. Here we go. I think Chargles might finally be on the right path here, as it's going to be sitake first to Ness's Nightmare. Glorious Light, not going to be a problem. Heavy freeze resist, 10% brain shock, and you get a teddy bear. At least in that part of the encounter pool. I think this is one where you just drain out the psychic points and hope to win that way. Well, there goes sitake, draining the psychic points. And what will really drain them out is Rock and Omega. Of all the PSI moves in the entire game, it is the highest cost at 98 psychic points. Chargles back in juice, and this is turning pretty rough here. Hyperum is not going to have any hype in this seat as sitake has knocked out Ness's Nightmare and is going to be on to floor 7. Very nicely done. Pencil Eraser, skip through Peace Forest Valley, could go to floor 9, could go to floor 5. However, no Pencil Eraser. Chargos has found what would eventually be part of the route is Summers. But with how long he's been on this floor, he's got to feel like he's running a little behind. Bottle of deluxe water, good pickup there. It's a big floor. Yeah, that definitely tracks, Chargles. And with that, both of our memes are in. Robot caught up to Sitake there. I doubt that was intentional. Another robot joins in, which is very unfortunate. And another robot. At this point, Sitake's had enough. He's queuing up Starstorm. See if Chargles can find his way forward. And there's Central Net, not that that's going to do any good now. Yeah, Guardian Hieroglyph was the earlier boss that I stumbled on the name on. Sitake is taking a moment here. No notification in the race time room, so I'm assuming he's just stepping away for a moment. Yeah, I'm wondering if he AFK'd for a moment. At least that's what I'm thinking. Oh, ain't that the truth? I've actually had times in Racing Link to the Past Rando, I'll just trigger the infinite iframes. Yep, there he goes. Yeah, I would just trigger the infinite iframes in Tower of Hera, as an example, and then just sit down the controller and run to the bathroom. Oh, this is bad for Chargles. He's taking a baiting. Alright, everybody got lifed up that's still up on Chargle's end, so taking a moment to allow the rolling HP meter to roll back up makes sense to me. Or not, he's just gonna reset. Okay, big bottle rocket there for Sitake. Without Jeff, that's a whammy item. And it looks like he did save nearby, so... Well, it's as John Lovitz once said, and nothing of value was lost. Outside of maybe time. We could be heading to 9 on Sitake's end. But is it forward or backward? We'll know based off his movements here. Wait a minute. Skip sandwich. And Chargles doesn't have it. Oh. Might have had it stolen during a previous encounter. Unfortunately for Sitake, the enemies were of floor 5, so back to 7 we go. Well, then again, Crimson, on the topic you mentioned, how bad do Amazon warehouse workers have it? I've heard reports of them having to keep bottles of Snapple near them. Empty ones. For that very purpose. Oh, this could be interesting. Let's see where this goes for Sitake. Not setting an exit mouse. Oh, gonna use teleport stress, because teleport now works, apparently. Oh, the joys of Ancient Cave and the inconsistency of teleport. When it works, you can avoid enemies. When it doesn't, not so much. Oh, I think Sitake's on 9 because that's a Starman. And foregoing the item that was in that slot by running away from the 2 Starmen. Calorie Stick not going to do much in terms of healing. It is a modest heal, but as you get later into the game, it's not nearly as effective. And Chargles finally finds the exit to floor 6. After what felt like an eternity wandering that floor, that skip into 6 really saved Sitake some headaches because he avoided Tucson by doing that. That could be a big difference in this one. Also, heads up. A little heads up from me is that when Starstorm gets used, there's a lot of flashing on the screen. That's just the nature of Earthbound, so there is a bit of a flashing light warning with this game. Just as a nature of the beast deal. Also, those were known as tactless insects. How tactless were they? they intentionally farted loudly in church, and the inappropriate teenage boys started laughing about it. Ooh, these are pit bull slugs on Chargle's end. These can be nasty, because they hit hard, because the game expects you by the point in the game that you get to Deep Darkness that you have a lot of defensive gear. In an Ancient Cave setting, not the case. Cracked Bat's not going to do us any good, though, so that can become firewood. Chargles is clear to use PSI offense because it used a power shield, and that is a very heavy freeze resist. Oh, and there's something I gotta follow up on. A Ness's Nightmare starts a battle with 882 psychic points. I did the math. That is enough times to use Rock and Omega up to 8 times. But with all the other PSI moves that he uses, it's not going to do that. And Chargles takes down Nessa's Nightmare. Very nicely done. Bottle Rocket's not going to do any good. And Chargles is in Moonside, 4-7. Sitake looking to find the way to Gygus as we are approaching the 58-minute mark of this seed. Happy Happy Village is not going to have anything at the free stand because shops are off. So the free stand is out of play. However, there could still be a door to Gygus there. Oh, this could be really bad. That is a bionic Kraken. Now that's a Cave of the Past enemy, and it can be very powerful. And Lyra, I do not blame you whatsoever, as Charles picks up a Diadem of Kings. And Sitake has teleport bonked. Unclear if it was the bush or the Wetnosaur. Sitake trying to get away from this fight, but it is not happening here. Sitake gets out of it, once again leaving an item behind, but sacrificing that for party safety. Oh, diamonds everywhere. This is looking ugly. And that's double burger skip. But I see what Sitake is doing here, intentionally teleport bonking, knowing full well that it works, for one, and it lets him zip past all of these diamond enemies. Only works in the overworld locations, though, not inside places such as Giant Step. Admittedly, this is a nasty looking floor 9 because Cave of the Past enemies seem to have their run of the joint. And unfortunately for Chargles, Paula just got diamondized. As Pebble Possum in chat makes an interesting comparison, the cost of losing the item drop is widely overestimated in my opinion. It's the equivalent of getting involuntarily milled in Magic the Gathering. Having seen some Magic the Gathering arena a few years ago, I can definitely see that. Sometimes you get good stuff milled out of your deck, but sometimes you get junk milled out of your deck, like you get land pockets milled out. And now we're seeing what goes to 9. And right as I said it, Aurelix brings it up in chat. The critical thing gets milled and you have no graveyard recovery. And being able to look at your graveyard, that's just stinky. At least you could check out your own graveyard in Arena. Last time I played that about, 5 years ago at this point? Okay, Chargles has found the back end of 4. Now, Pencil Eraser would have gone to 9 through Peaceful Rest Valley. Chargles wants the boss, and he was going to take on Trillion H Sprout. And for his efforts, Chargles gets him a Sir Baseball Cap. Full heal found for Sitake. He needed that. Can't tell me otherwise. But yeah, you can't get decked out in this. Well, that's the big difference between this and a card and the aforementioned card game Magic the Gathering is you can get decked out. And this will lead Chargles to floor 9 if he takes it. But he forgot to grab the key to the tower. It's the sort of dumb thing I've done. And I believe it was at this moment he knew he messed up. Chef's fry pan, nice upgrade. Now the strat is sound for Chargles to mark the exit mouse outside of the tower so that should you take a death, or rather, should it be backwards, rather, you just keep on going. Oh, wow, Chargles and sitake suddenly in the same room. Just like that, both runners are 9. At two different ends of floor 9. Sitake finding the back end of 8. Hey, chat. I think we got ourselves a race. Oh, atomic-powered robots with a psychic power shield. Look out. And Sitake's found Gaius. Chargles is very close to Gaius, but just has to get there. Just has to make the right turns at this point, and he'll be at Gaius. As here we go for sitake. At stake at this point in time is a trip to the grand final. Yeah, both runners got pendants pretty early. I mean, there's still the big question is alpha or beta. But our kids have a lot of health. It's a beta. And that does a devastating amount of damage. And Porky's been paralyzed. Well, honestly, I blame the heat more than anything else. Seems like Phrase is working fairly well on Phase 1, but we'll see how it all pans out as we go into Phase 2. Once we get there, that is. In that situation, I'm not sure I would have saved there if I was Charles. I probably would have just allowed for the temp save to be where I revive, because then you just go back out the door, then back in, and you're fully healed. And here we go to Phase 2 for sitake. No Franklin badges, so has to be mindful of thunder here. And phase 2 is freeze resistant. And fire resistant too. Oh, this is gross. This is absolutely disgusting. Yeah, Starstorm's going to be the way to go for damage here in phase 2. Speaking of, that's phase 2 done for Sitake. He's absolutely rolling right now. What Chargles needs to find is a full heal, but unfortunately for Chargles, he doesn't realize it. I mean, he might think he's running out of time, and what he doesn't know right now is he's absolutely right. Because Sitake's on the prayer phase. Charles gets a super plush bear from that fight. It looks like Charles is on the same route that Sitake took, which is very unfortunate. Wait, I might have spoke too soon as he's backing up and taking a different way. And that's the back end of floor 8. As chat pointing out at this point, this is basically Sitake's race to lose, barring an absolute disastrous catastrophe. That's a full heal for Charles. He desperately needs this. He's just one door away, I believe. That's double burger. And I believe he's almost there. Nope, that ain't it. And Charles has found Gygus right as Sitake is closing in on the final 2 prayers. And I'm not sure where Charles is going, but he's got to realize that at this point it's all but over. But what he's doing, I don't know. What I do know is get your GGs in chat for Sitake, who has won and is moving on to the Grand Finals with an official racetime.gg time of 1 second, it's not showing me the window. One hour, 13 minutes, 40 seconds. I am not sure what Charles is doing at the moment. Runners seem to be having a bit of a chat in the race time room. And we are now joined by Chargles. GG, Chargles.
Was it, though?
You'd be surprised how close it was because you found the route to Geigus faster than Sitake did in terms of floor 9, because Sitake found a lot more of that floor. It's just the big difference was Sitake skipped onto 6. You didn't, and you saw a lot of that 6.
Oh, was it 6 that was the bad floor, or was it 4?
6 was the epic stinker of a floor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was bad. I saw there was a handful of skips onto 9 in the end. Was the issue there? I think it was a skip sandwich that I dropped. I think.
Yeah, that really didn't help matters.
It was not smart to do, but it's okay. That just means I get the rematch between Keeley that everyone wants. So, in terms of World Cup, I mean, I've gotten my butt kicked by Japan, and now I'm going to get my butt kicked by France.
Hey, funny you should mention that. I got it's on my TV. I got a World Cup game on right now. Nothing's happened yet. This has been where the real excitement has been.
I haven't obviously didn't. I'm just going to Geigus now because who cares at this point? I'm guessing Geigus must have been fairly easy. Maybe not.
We'll see.
I didn't get the pokey paralyzed.
Yeah, it's
he's very weak to freeze, so that'll be real quick, at least if I can just deal with the pokey stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of Jeff items right away. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that honestly felt like the game knows territory, in all honesty, because the game knew Jeff wasn't going to be around, so front-loaded a bunch of Jeff stuff early, just to troll the runners, which I thought, Gabe, you are a stinker.
Yet, without the whole pokey paralysis stuff. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, phase 1 will be cake. I think not having the Franklin badge. I've missed a few items in the pool with some red swirls. Had one ugly fight on 9, but otherwise, I'm guessing Geigus was pretty smooth for Sitake, as evidenced by the fact that he must have gotten through it first try.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I mean, part of it was also, well, one other part of this seed is that you guys were given a good amount of C pendants from the item pool.
Yeah, they were early. Yeah, I didn't take any deaths. I took one reset just because I had a red swirl right after a save, and I thought, what's the point? And then it turns out it was a bread roll. So that was cool. Okay, it's a freeze-resistant phase 2.
Yeah, that's the part that was a bit gross.
Yeah, Starstorm. And I'll get a magic card to go Brain Shock. Oh, I should Brain Shock this phase anyways. What am I doing? Obviously, I'm sure you're still streaming through it, but you have by no means need to finish up my stream just for my sake. So if you want to call it good, obviously Sitake was the better human today. I look forward to the rematch after I beat Keeley, and maybe I don't pick so many flags this time.
Well, I gotta be honest, picking all the extra flags certainly made things interesting, because the short skips certainly means you guys get to see more of the cave.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if, in a player who obviously has a far more intimate knowledge of Earthbound than I do, if it's better to slow things down, or would like somebody, hey, you can go 159, boom, you're there. I don't know what's right.
You're not the only one, believe me, because I swear the volatility of Ancient Cave makes for some very good viewing.
Very good. Except if you're me and you lose, so this is a terrible cave, and it's the worst one I've ever done.
Yeah, I owe Toot. I don't have much I can say about that.
I mean, I'd have
That's
been done.
haven't had the best of luck.
I'd have been done like 125 or so. We can call it good just for the sake of everyone wants to go to bed, myself included.
Well, to be fair, it's summertime. We don't have to worry about school or anything like that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for the race, Chargles. GG. You put on a heck of a show. It was definitely an entertaining watch as we have a goal on the World Cup stage. Just saying. For those who are
Go.
football fans out there,
Bye, everybody.
all right, thanks for the race. Thanks for the restream. Follow the runners, everybody. And next time, we'll be back with another great race in the Earthbound Super Series Ancient Cave Tournament. For our two runners, Sitake Chargles, everyone behind the scenes at Earthbound Super Series, I'm Leslie Pro. Good night. Take care. Fuzzy Pickles!